What's up, Bears fans? As Thomas Brown takes over this team, things are getting very, very interesting. We've got an interview with Thomas Brown that happened yesterday. We've got an uncomfortable interview with Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles. Could that be signaling the end of Ryan Poles? I have some questions here about whether Ryan Poles is not ready to get out of town because he did not look happy, and Kevin Warren seemed to command the meeting and you know, this was uncomfortable. Let's break this down first. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. We're talking Thomas Brown right now, so let's get after it. All right, look, guys, we're looking for validation from Thomas Brown to, you know, give us that sense of feeling that we're missing right now with the Chicago Bears, right? And what he said was, and look, one of the things that they're pointing out here in this article is that, you know, he looked a little bit overwhelmed. He doesn't look overwhelmed. He looks calm, cool, and relaxed. But his first goal right here, I talked about making sure our house is right to begin with. Initial goal is to unify this football team. No more divisions. And look, we've seen plenty of division in this team over the last few weeks. We've seen Montez Sweat talking about he's using vulgarities to explain how mad he is about losing. We've seen Jalen Johnson go after Coach Matt Eberflus. We've seen Jaquan Brisker absolutely clowning Matt Eberflus on social media for the last 3 or 4 days. We've seen a lot of division, and we've seen stand-up guys. We've seen stand-up guys like Caleb Williams, oddly enough, not coming to the defense, but protecting everybody, apologizing for his role in everything. You know, we've seen accountability, or at least the semblance of accountability from players, if not from that coaching staff. So this is feeling like he's taking care of the most important thing. This is my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, but it looks like he's wanting to do the right thing right away. And what identity does he want? Football is a violent game and rewards those who play the game violently. Thank you, Thomas Brown. That is, look, nothing to me says Chicago football like that right there. Okay, I'll take it. So now, in the meantime, Chris Beatty is now the new offensive coordinator, and Eric Washington will call plays on defense. But he also says, I'm not exempt from responsibility in those actions. We're a team, and I believe in doing things together. And what he's talking about is how the games have played out, the mistakes that have been made, not giving Cairo Santos a kick on the right side of the field inside the 40-yard line to make it a 70 of 70 kick that Cairo Santos has never missed, since 2021. So a lot of different kicks, no misses. So, little bonehead plays like that Matt Eberflus just became commonplace. Thomas Brown looks at it and he's like, yeah, you know what? We need to know what we need to know, and then we need to react to that knowledge, and we need to be better when it's game time. We need to call timeouts when there's a timeout remaining and we have an opportunity. And if we need to, we run up and spike the ball as quickly as we possibly can to do things that are just not boneheaded. So, but let's move on. This right here, and this is the coaching search, and it says that it's in trouble already. And here's the thing: the words going around the league right now, and this is coming from Adam Hoge. It says that they're in an awkward spot right now because people inside the NFL are now shocked, and this is creating a problem for the Chicago Bears potentially with their head coaching candidates. They were appalled by allowing Matt Eberflus to come out and speak and then firing him shortly after that, allowing him to come out and defend, hey, I'm going to be the coach when we get to San Francisco, so why don't you guys just shut up, bros? And what ends up happening is he's fired and he's gone. So this is going to create a problem potentially. Now, is it a deep problem? No. There are still plenty of talented candidates out here who will understand exactly what was going on. Now, what was going on? According to the available information, Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren met with George McCaskey 7:30 a.m. last Friday. The meeting lasted a few hours as they weighed their options. Now, it should be known at this point, Ryan Poles had been asking for a month to fire Matt Eberflus. After the Patriots game, he was done. He wanted to move on. He wanted to pull the cord quickly, but George McCaskey was like, no, bro, we don't fire people mid-season. We're the Chicago Bears. we do everything poorly, and then at the very end, then we jettison that person away, and we look like fools. Or whatever he says in his, I have no idea what he says in his break. By the way, there's a parody account of George McCaskey on X. I suggest you go follow it. It is hilarious so far. It's whew. Anyway, so they didn't want to reschedule the meeting or the conference with Matt Eberflus because it would send the message that something might be happening when they hadn't decided yet. But it's a bad move, okay? This is a bad move because they let him go out there and take bullets while they were there getting rid of him. And by the way, not that he didn't earn getting, he should have been gone a long time ago. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the method by which they did it, yeah, that's not very good. Chicago Bears weren't going to fire a coach on a holiday. Besides, McCaskey wasn't in Detroit. All of it came through an unfortunate set of circumstances. The good news is the Bears take over a month to prepare their explanation for potential coaching candidates once interviews begin in January. So they can get it together. They can figure it out. So again, much ado about maybe nothing. And, most people will be looking. And look, the question really is this. Is it Ben Johnson? Is it Mike Vrabel? And by the way, I'm not a fan of Mike Vrabel coming in. I like the fact that he's one of those guys that, but I mean, this is the guy that loved Nate Davis. Come on, man. So I don't know what the end result is. Ben Johnson seems to be the prohibitive favorite for a lot of people right now, but just as soon as he becomes the favorite, there's going to be a whole bunch of people coming out going, bro, I just don't like Ben Johnson. I mean, they said leader of men, and like Ben Johnson, technically, that's a Ben, and that's like the son, and that's not like whatever dumb reason you have in your brain for like, I don't like him. It doesn't make any sense. Look, we need an offensive-minded coach to take care of Caleb Williams. We need a good defensive coordinator to take care of the defense. It's, let's see what happens. Anyway, but let's move on. This right here, guys, look, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? It was an awkward scene as Kevin Warren dominated the opening of the Monday press conference when Ryan Poles waited for his turn to speak. And look, Ryan Poles does not look happy. He does not look happy. And look, let me just tell you what I think is going on here right now in this dynamic. I think that Ryan Poles wanted to get rid of Matt Eberflus because he wanted to salvage the season. George McCaskey and Kevin Warren wanted to stick with the Bears' way of doing things, even though Ryan Poles saw it, and they didn't let him pull the ripcord and bail the team out. And they let it go on and on and on and on. And then when it got to this point, then they said, well, this was your hire to begin with, and kind of hung him out to dry, even if not publicly, at least in his mind. So I think he's dealing right now with a struggle right now of, what are these guys doing and why am I in this situation? This is just my opinion. But Ryan Poles does not seem to be a very happy guy right now with the direction of what Kevin Warren and George McCaskey are doing. So I would venture to say that there is probably going to be a little trouble in paradise over the next couple of days, weeks, and months as we see how this all plays out and how this affects Ryan Poles. Now, in the meantime, Kevin Warren says this. He says that this head coach opening is going to be the most coveted job in the National Football League. Now, I don't know where that comes from. Look, the most coveted job is not one where the head coach goes out and has a meeting, gets fired 2 hours later. So I know he's dressing. You put lipstick on the pig. I understand that, but let's pamp that down just a little bit, Kevin Warren, and see how we actually look. What is one of the most storied franchises? Okay, so it should be a coveted job. There are certain people who would like to coach Caleb Williams. It should be coveted in that way. However, it's still run by George McCaskey and Kevin Warren, who didn't let Ryan Poles do his job and then left him kind of hanging out to dry later on. There's problems here, and I don't know that they're insurmountable problems. I think that we've been mired in mediocrity for so long. We just expect crazy things to happen at this point, but we deserve better as fans. So I hope to see something change dramatically over the next couple of games here for the team. I hope that the consideration is maybe Thomas Brown is that guy and problem solved, and this becomes a moot point. But it's going to be some interesting tidings as we get towards the end of this season. If this team comes alive and really starts to play for Thomas Brown and starts to rack up some wins, if that happens and we put some blitzes on people and we start to do some real good things, then this team is Thomas Brown's team, and you're not going to be able to take that away. You're going to have to pay that man. So I'm interested to see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. And remember to bear down, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.